Hi, how are y'all doing today? Well, it's absolutely gorgeous down here, and I decided I'm gonna film outside today. Um, we had a new porch built for him with a ramp so he can walk up easier. We had a few short steps, and it was time to replace them. And now we got a nice, fairly big porch. And so I said, oh, I'm going to go sit on my new porch. I have my favorite porch on the other side of the house. So we're going to do this side right now. Yeah, it's been a busy week. You know, it, it's funny. They don't give you classes in school how to be a caregiver. And yeah, I was in the healthcare field I started as a CNA, and then I worked my way up, and eventually I became a respiratory therapist, and I was a respiratory therapist for almost 20 years. But even with all that, and help, my father had cancer, my grandmother, my first father-in-law, and then my mother-in-law in this marriage. It don't prepare you. There's nothing that prepares you to take care of a spouse. And I have my good days and I have my bad days. Today is a rough day. And it's probably more because, we've had a rough week. We've saw the radiologist, and Jason did not have a good appointment with him. It was like their personalities clashed. And you want them to have a good relationship with their doctors, because that's important. If they have a good relationship with their doctors, then they're more than likely be able to continue their treatment more willingly. And no matter what, I'm going to have Jason's back. But the radiologist, there was like a point of contention because he pretty much was told by his ENT that she had gotten all the cancer. And his radiologist said, well, she don't know what she's talking about, which put a kink in Jason's, or a burr in his saddle, because he trusts his ENT well with, doing all of his health care. I mean, he let her operate on him, and he is not one to trust doctors or hospitals or anything like that. And so there was a big to-do about that. And in his defense, you don't want one doctor cutting another doctor like that in front of a patient or to a patient. Because, and I was sitting right there, so I heard that conversation. And I was like, okay, well, here we go. That wasn't good. But, hold please. Okay, so that was Wednesday's appointment. Thursday, we had 3 appointments pretty much back to back. And we started with the swallow study. We got there, and then we found out that there was nobody there to do the swallow study. Okay, well, that didn't really start the morning off that great. Then we went from there to his plastic surgeon, and his plastic surgeon's appointment went pretty good. So thumbs up on that one. Then we went from the plastic surgeon to his ENT. And that's the one the radiologist had pretty much said that had lied to Jason. And my husband is a no-holds-barred kind of guy, which is why I love that man so much. And he is more than willing to call out the card for the card. And he did. And he said, this is what my radiologist said. And he said, you lied to me. Now I want to know why. This is the problem. When you have a doctor that compromises the relationship between a patient and another doctor, then what happens is they no longer trust not only that doctor, the doctor that said it, and then any other doctors that come into the equation. They start to second guess. So here I'm in the background trying to encourage my husband and say, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. And in the meantime, these doctors come in, and I'm sure that you guys are facing it. And if you're not, I am so thankful for you. But if you are facing it, I am so sorry, because this is another point of frustration for them. They come in and they're like, well, this doctor may have not done this, and this is not good. And this is where the coordinator needs to take over, and you put it back on them and say, you've got to get these doctors on board. So my job as his caregiver is to call the coordinator and say, this is what's being said. We need to get this fixed. Otherwise, he's not going to follow through on treatment because he's not trusting anybody. And he's already said, I don't know if I want to do any more treatment. And he said, I don't feel like I've been given a choice in the matter. And in a way, we were kind of, here's your diagnosis, here's your surgery date, be there. That was pretty much it. We weren't given any options, you know, and he's right. We weren't. There was no, sorry, bumblebees flying through the, we've been photobombed by a bumblebee. So sometimes, and this is where I'm learning, is if you feel like things are moving too fast and it's in, like I mentioned in the other videos, it was a whirlwind. We went zip, 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 zip. Next thing we know, we're in recovery and he's getting moved up into a hospital room, and it's over and done with, and we don't know how it happened. It was just like, boom, over and done with. So if you feel like you're being pushed into a direction you're not sure, stop. And Jason's going to do a video on this. I know we've been talking about it, but right now he hasn't been in the frame of mind to do a video. And I'm not going to push him to. I don't feel, I mean, he's done a couple, but I don't feel that it's fair to him to ask him to do something when he doesn't feel like it's right for him right now. He wants to do them, but he's got so much going on. We talked about mentally and physically and spiritually. You know, he said that he put it like, you know how there is that commercial for the green noise and it's all moving around? That's what it's like in his head. Everything's just moving around and it's not stopping. And I get it. And I told him, okay. Biggest thing is just validating their feelings. And that's what I'm doing, is validating his feelings. And I said, when you're ready, you can make your videos. And he has a lot to say. He really does. I married him. I know. We talk a lot. And sometimes it's about absolutely nothing at all, which is absolutely fun. And sometimes we get down to very serious conversations. And sometimes it's just peace and quiet, and we just enjoy each other's presence. But if any of these videos are helping you, do me a favor. Please let me know. I'd like to feel like I'm doing a thing. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please comment. It helps me to help you. All right? Till next time. Love you. Prayers to all. Bye.